Please state your name and the office that you're running for.
Hello, my name is Nichole Compton. I am an attorney in Jefferson County running for Jefferson Circuit Court Division 9.
And why are you running?
I'm running because Louisville is my city, Louisville is my home, and where my family resides. I've been practicing for 16 years, and I've practiced in every facet of case that I know of, for the most part. I've practiced in district court, I've practiced in family court, I've practiced in circuit, and even the Court of Appeals, and have a published Court of Appeals case that I've won. So just about every level of state court, as well as other courts outside of Kentucky and federal courts. I have learned so much as an attorney, but even more being a citizen of Jefferson County, about how the law works and how our court systems work. Our legal system is set up to serve, and we have a pretty decent legal system in the state of Kentucky as well as Jefferson County. But just as any organization or any court, I would say, nothing is perfect if it's ran by humans. And so there's always a margin of error and there's always room for improvement. I wholeheartedly believe that the people of Jefferson County should have the absolute best court, the absolutely best judges on the bench in Jefferson County that we can have. And I know that that would be me in Division 9. And so I bring all of my experience from life, from being a citizen of Jefferson County, from being a mother and a grandmother of people who reside in this great city, as well as the types of cases and the clients that I've served over the years. I'm looking to bring all of that into our court system and offer somebody who's caring, somebody who is legally competent, somebody who's able to be civil, and also committed to justice and committed to serving this community. And so that is me, and that is why I am running for Jefferson County Circuit Court Division 9.
We would be remiss to be in Louisville and not look at the justice that is being meted out when you talk about the Breonna Taylor case. And right now, the officer who fired shots into the next room, fired at Breonna, but fired shots in the next room, they're holding him accountable for firing shots into the adjacent apartment, but not holding anybody accountable for Breonna's death. Interact with that.
So it's not just Breonna Taylor.
Okay.
Everyone knows her name because we've spoken it, because of all of the publicity that has happened nationally and with George Floyd and other cases. So it's not just Breonna Taylor. Every day we are hearing issues that are going on in our court system and in our whole legal system for our city. And it's Jefferson County, Louisville, Kentucky is no different than any other city. It just so happened with the Breonna Taylor case that on that night, the events happened the way that they did that brought some of the issues that have happened to the forefront. Now, as a judge or as a judicial candidate, there's very little that I can say as far as taking a stance or an opinion. What I can say is Breonna Taylor looks like me. I mean, my maiden name is Taylor. I don't know if she's related, but she looks like me. She looks like my niece. She looks like my next door neighbor. And the things that happened to her and her family are tragic. I mean, it's very sad that her mom will never have her daughter again, that Kenneth Walker won't have his girlfriend laying next to him any other night after that night. You know, that is sad. But I will say that I can't really speak to exactly what the judges did on the case or what the officers did. I've read the reports, but I wasn't there. I don't know. As a judge, however, I can sit on the bench, and if that was a case that came before me, I can say with wholehearted honesty that I'm going to not see that as another number on my docket none of the cases will just be a number on my docket. Every case that comes before me, every person that walks into my courtroom will have my full undivided attention. They will know that I'm going to do what I need to diligently research and make sure that I understand all of the issues at hand, that I've had all of the legal training that's required, but that I continuously am making sure that I am educating myself on new nuances in the law and new changes in the law and how those will affect the cases before me, and that everybody who comes in to my courtroom, whether they're the officers or the victim's family, or a defendant, or in a civil suit, a plaintiff or defendant in that case, that they know that they were treated with respect, that they had their day in court, that I bring an open door to justice and the system, and that everybody will be treated equally and on equal footing for justice in my court. There will never be anybody who walks out, even if I have to sentence them to jail or I don't rule in their favor, they will know that I was fair, that I was just, that I was thorough, and that they got their day in court. And for me, I know that that's what matters. And so that is what I would say in that situation. And I hope that we don't have repeats of the Breonna Taylor case or of any of the cases that are similar to her in our city. But I know we will, and that's why we need good judges to be there.
Tell people what precinct or county, however you said here, that you're running for again, and then how can someone help you? And please give out contact information. So,
sure.
And I know you need money, so let people know how they can contribute to your campaign.
I don't need money. We need money.
We do.
And here's the thing. As an
some
attorney,
of us more than others. But
some of us more than others. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rich. I do,
right.
The money helps. But I say that we need money because I'm not running for me. There are plenty of candidates who are out there, and those are the candidates. There are other candidates who, they just want the name, they want the power, they want the position. That's not why I'm running. I could make more money staying in private practice or with the businesses that I own. Actually going to the bench is not going to make me rich. However, I say we need the money because I've been an attorney for the people and I want to be a judge for justice. And so I've spent much of my legal career explaining and teaching and giving free workshops and pro bono legal service to educate people about this is how our legal system works. When you walk in court and you have a child support case and you need to understand how child support works. I had a TV show that I was on, and that was the theme of the TV show, was teaching people how to advocate for themselves instead of being scared of the system, instead of being intimidated when they do need to come to court or they need to take part in our legal system, that they would know how to do so. And so I find with running for judge, it's the same. I have to continuously educate my community about how this works. And so I am running for Jefferson County Circuit Court Division 9. That's District 30 when it comes to overall Kentucky. In Kentucky, our judges are county-wide. So if you live or reside in Jefferson County, which is Louisville, the Metro Louisville area, I will be on your ballot. They have the ballot, you have to flip it over to the back because that's usually where the judges' races are. And I say this, before you get to May 17th, which is primary, I have a primary because there's more than 2 people in my race. The primary, there will be 6 people on the ballot and we have to get down to 2. So whoever gets the top 2 amounts of votes will go on to the general election in November. But before you get to that May 17th date when you vote, we need you to make sure that you register, make sure that everybody in your family is registered to vote. And there's been some changes. There's been some changes in our laws as far as restoring your rights to vote. So make sure that if you have the opportunity to restore your right, take advantage and restore your rights to vote. Before the May 17th date, I also need you to educate yourself. Really know who those names on the ballot are. It will be overwhelming. because every single judge position is open in our county. Now, not everybody has an opponent. So some of them is going to be one person on there, you check them off, you move on. But those candidates that are listed are more than names. And you need to know them. You need to know who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in. Because while you are supposed to be an impartial judge on the bench, we all do have, we have human biases, of course. But you also have temperament. You also have, judges have to have a good level temperament. You need somebody with customer service who understands that they are there to serve and not just to be high and mighty on the bench. And it's not just a job for them. You need to know who's who and what they do stand for, what their background is, and what qualities they bring to the bench. And so those are the first things. That's my educational piece.
Sure.
Now, getting to me, as Nichole Compton.
Before you go to the educational piece, you said something that poses a question for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can a convicted felon vote in Kentucky?
Convicted felons cannot. However, you can get rights restored.
Uh-huh.
So you may not. Let me back up. You can get rights restored to vote. There's been some legislation that has happened in the last couple of years that do allow for that. So if you are a convicted felon, you may have a step that you have to take, but
before
yes,
you can vote.
Should be, mm-hmm. Yes, you should be able to get your voting rights after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And you know what? And it's important for that because I do believe in justice. I believe that just like I have a 7-year-old grandson that I'm raising, and I tell him every day, there are consequences to everything. So if your consequence to your action or the consequence to how things panned out in your case resulted in a conviction, even if it's a felony conviction, you take your punishment, your time, you do your time, and you should be able to be restored back to where you were before it happened. I do believe in that. And so who better to know or to be a stakeholder in our legal system than someone who's been through it? So if you've been through it, you understand the need to have a fair judge, to have an impartial judge, to have somebody on the bench who is going to make sure that justice is served and that they got their day in court.
Tell us about Nichole.
So, well, let me go back to what you asked before about how to help. Okay. And so I said it before, I don't necessarily need the money, but the campaign does need the money. Mm-hmm. And most people don't understand that to run a good race with a county as big as Jefferson County, it takes a lot of money. Every yard sign, every postage stamp, every postcard that goes out, every t-shirt that we give away, those cost money. Not only that, but I have to be able to reach hundreds of thousands of people in a short amount of time and get the message out on why they need to vote and who I am and why I am the right candidate for the city. To do that, ads cost, billboards cost, time is money, so that, it costs me to do those things. But all of those things add up, and those don't come out of just the candidate's pocket. It should not. I put my money where my mouth is, so I'm putting thousands into my race. But the best way to show support is three things. One, to vote, because I need that. At the end of the day, no matter how much money I raise, if I don't have the votes, I don't win. So we need the votes, we need the money to be able to get the message out, and we need ambassadors. I need every person that believes in what I'm saying and believes that I would be a good judge to tell everybody that they know, to tell everybody that they know, to go out and vote, and also to give the money. Now, to donate, you can go to comptonforjudge.com. And that's like, straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton.
I'm sorry, I'm real, I am who I am, I like to have fun, but that doesn't take away from my professionalism.
Nah.
But just like straight out of Compton, comptonforjudge.com, you can find it on Facebook, You can find it on our website to be able to give money. Even if it is $5, it matters, it helps, and that does a lot. Now, you asked me about me. Well, and I want to say one more thing, sorry. When I say be an ambassador, I do accept and welcome volunteers. I've even had babies in onesies that say vote for Nichole. I will take any help. So those who are able to make calls, or able-bodied to knock doors with me, or who want to have a house party, and it can be virtually. We can do Zoom calls where you get your family and friends together, and I'll come and speak to them personally. I love doing that kind of stuff. So those are ways that people can help me, because I cannot be everywhere in this city all the time, every day, and physically and mentally survive that. So I do need help in those ways. And again, that's Nichole Compton. It's ComptonForJudge.com. And the office line is 502-444-1877.
Say that again.
502-444-1877.
Thank you.
And so I give me a call. They'll, my campaign line, you'll be surprised. Sometimes I'm the one that ends up answering it. And I love talking to people. I love one-on-one conversations. And I will say this as well. I've gotten a lot of support from organizations and people here in Jefferson County. But I get a lot of love and support nationally as well. And so I have people in California who have volunteered and donated, people in Texas, people in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana. I mean, I have, and the reason I put that out there is if there is someone who believes in me or what we're trying to do in this race, they can still get involved. They can still donate. They can still have house parties. We can still, talk on the radio shows and things like that to get the message out. Because just like you had brought up with the Breonna Taylor case, Breonna Taylor incident happened here in Jefferson County, but it affected the nation. And I've had to tell people over and over that, the Ahmaud Arbery case, the Breonna Taylor, the George Floyd, and other cases that have been sprinkled in the news media throughout the nation have all affected how we do things in our courts. And they should. Our legal system and our laws are ever evolving and changing to meet the needs of the people at the time. And so every new case can create new case law that trickles from those states to this state, from that court to this court. And so don't think because you're not in Jefferson County or you never have been to Louisville, Kentucky, that this race doesn't affect you. I've had people who have driven through and got a speeding ticket. Guess what? You're going before a judge here. You may not be able to vote for that judge, but you may have had some hand in making sure that when you get to court that judge is going to be fair and impartial and give your case a shot.
Give that number one more time for people.
502-444-1877.
We want to thank you for the time.
Thank you.
We will post this on our website.
Thank you.
We will help you because it appears that you are a person who will judge justly for the people.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before we close out?
Yes. So, in all candidacy, I had some politically savvy people who said, well, are you really going to go to an event with the new Black Panther Party? And that may be political suicide. But here's the honest to God truth. No matter who comes before me, it is not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a purple, Indian, Mexican, Jewish, whatever you deem yourself to be. Our legal system is here for the people. I don't intend to be a judge for one group or another, and I don't want to be beholden to any organization at all. What I want when people see me is I want them to say, there goes Judge Nichole Compton. She was an attorney for the people who believed in helping everyone and making her community better, and now she's on the bench as a judge for justice doing just the same in her community.
Let the church say amen. My goodness. That's a very provocative statement. And it definitely makes us want to help you win.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want? I'm gonna ask again. Is there anything else? Yeah, and that phone number.
502-444-1877. 502-444-1877. And honestly, ComptonForJudge.com, if you fill out the volunteer sheet or the contact us form, you will get a call back. It's going to take all of us collectively to change how things are done in our city, and everyone in our city deserves to have the very best judiciary. And so that means every last one of us are responsible to make sure that happens.
Thank you so much, Judge Compton.
Thank you.
Thank you.